disciplined, but I will try to say hello to everybody.
Hello, sir. He's been doing it everywhere. He will not take it unless he wants to show it.
This is the reading room that used to be called the Woodrow Wilson, which I regard as somewhat and I love this.
But we need to change that. I mean, they should put some cameras in here, then you can.
Well,
There are more than 200.
yeah.
Put it here for the young people. Because they don't use much.
By the time they should be students there,
Yes.
there will be no hand left to shake.
You have to use this to into a space. Two beautiful books. Nice. Look at them. So way, so really lovely. Really lovely. You have to think creatively how to use this space. Bring technology into this room. I tell you, it's a lot of good. Frank would then be technology. Maybe just have to very dark. I like the way that everybody looks now. I just think it's got such a lovely atmosphere, but how do you utilize
So, good morning, everybody. I think it's safe to say that after this, I'll never be able to argue that we don't have enough people, but you should know that this represents a broad cross-section of activities, from the library to multilingualism, to our tour guides, wonderful people, to the youth envoy, who I'm very happy to see here. And we really love this space and would love to put it to more creative uses than just occasionally an interview, which is, I believe, what brought you here before. I'm sure you have remarks of your own, so.
Now, I just wanted to wish you all a very good 2018, personally, with your families, and of course professionally in your work in the UN. And to say that I'm very grateful for the extremely complex and difficult work you do, and I would say not in the best possible conditions. I mean, for many reasons, this has been piling up in different ways through time. And if we would now we would be building a global communication department in the UN, probably it would have been completely different. But you have been able, in very difficult circumstances, to do something that is extremely important for us. If you look at today's world, it is clear that never multilateral institutions like the UN were so necessary as today, with the global challenges that we face, and have no solution at country level. At the same time, never multilateralism has been so attacked as it is today, starting by leaders of some of the most important countries in the world. I'm not going to mention them by name, but I believe that you have been following the news. But what's interesting, and I just received it a few days ago, in a research in many countries around the world. It's a global research by a foundation, an institution that is credible, comparing the levels of confidence in relation to governments, media, civil society, private sector, and international organizations like the UN. The UN is, unexpectedly for me, very well placed, which means that in the people, we are still seen like a kind of a last resort, like a kind of a reference of a number of values that are being put into question in so many areas of the world, which creates us an enormous responsibility not to frustrate that expectation in relation to the UN. Now, that depends a lot on what we do, and there are many things that we do that are not properly done, and there are many problems that we face by the fact that we are not an organization that is homogeneous. We have the Security Council, we have the General Assembly, we have the Secretariat, we have the agencies, and sometimes the Security Council takes decisions that are not, I would say, favorably seen by public opinion in many parts of the world, but then for them it's the UN, no? Or if there is a case of sexual exploitation and abuse by someone somewhere, it's the UN. So we pay that price of being a heterogeneous organization. But the truth is that we still represent a set of very important values, and we still do look at our humanitarian work, look at what peacekeepers manage in many different circumstances. We still do a lot of very important things for the world's population. And the problem is that we need to do better, but we also need to communicate better what we do. And to communicate better what we do is a very difficult task in this world where everything is changing so quickly, and of course where the instruments of communication are changing dramatically, you know? And especially how can we connect with the young generations that have a completely different relationship among themselves and with the institutions compared with my generation or the generation of many of the colleagues that are here. So, I mean, there's a huge job that we need to do also to make our communication system better adapt to the needs of the present times. And picking these lots of things that you have, lots of mandates, lots of picking all these and some structures that relate still to a world with a different technological environment, how to redesign, taking based on your enthusiasm and your capacity and your will also to adapt and to be able to respond to the challenges of the new times. How can we make sure that simultaneously in our efforts we are able to do better all areas of the activity and we are able to communicate better what we do. That's our very difficult task, but we count a lot on you. So all the best. Now, this is I mean, it's not a scripted occasion, it's not a discussion, but if there are these 2 or 3 things that colleagues want absolutely to say to a Secretary General, even if they are very embarrassing and very nasty or whatever, but you see that you need to say it, this is the moment. I mean, any suggestion, any criticism, any comment, any complaint? The moment. Yes.
Hi, my name is Tamara Brathwaite. I'm an associate librarian here. When you were introduced, it was mentioned this room, which is a wonderful
When, sorry?
When you were introduced, it was mentioned this room that we're in right now, which is a wonderful room. But there are 2 purpose-built rooms in the library. One is the auditorium downstairs, and the other one is the penthouse upstairs that are purpose-built for such meetings like this. Is there any way that we will be addressing those rooms so that we can perhaps open them back or have them available so that we can meet and be comfortable in such spaces?
Well, I have no idea. I don't even know. But this is something that I presume can be discussed with our colleagues in management. And I believe the most stupid thing is to have assets that we cannot use properly. So I will be an ally to try to make things move. So if necessary, if you try to make things move and you don't manage, call me and I will do something to make it happen. Yeah.
That was the only question. One more question.
No, don't worry. But yeah, even if it is tough, don't worry. I mean.
My name is Stephanie Carty. I represent the group of the guided tours here at the UN, and we just wanted to say that we're very honored to work for the United Nations and for Mr. Antoniu Gutterrich as our Secretary General, and just want to, reiterate that we invite people to come to the UN, and we talk about all the problems that are here in the world. And we're usually the ones that have to deal with, the difficult questions. So, just to present ourselves.
I also have to deal with some difficulties. But what would you like to suggest?
Nothing. I would just wanted to say that we are from the guided tours.
I know.
Just wanted to-
You have the front line of many of the aggressions that we face. We know that. But that's the fun. Because I must say, I find your work, I'm always very interested by this part of the work in the organizations where I've been. I mean, before I was in UNHCR, let me use this, but I think we can, before I was in UNHCR, and one of the things I was more interested in was to try to make our organization much more able to communicate what we're doing, and also communicate in the sense that gather support, make people understand because the refugee cause, it's not an easy cause. We have to fight xenophobia, we have to fight racism, so it's not just communicate what we do, it's sometimes really almost an ideological battle. And I believe in relation to the values of the UN, this is what we expect. I mean, you will need to fight for our values, because there will be lots of people communicating the opposite, no? And so this is the most interesting part. I mean, I must confess, if I would have to choose a department to work, I would come to work here. Okay, dear colleagues, all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.